Hi, this is Charlie and welcome to Wednesday's video. I hope you're very well. Kim and I have got our annual Christmas do today, so I thought I would just record this video. I'm actually recording this a few days in advance and titled it, Do You Really Want to Be a Hedge Fund Manager? Because you have to ask yourself, a lot of people get into trading and they think, oh yeah, I want to, once they start learning to trade, they think, oh yeah, it'd be great to be a fund manager. And why would you not want to be a fund manager? Well, let me pose this to you. A lot of people who get into trading, myself included, I got into trading because I left the fund management industry for the very reason that I didn't have a work-life balance. Because when you work in the city or in any institution environment, then the company you work for is going to want their fair share of blood, sweat, and tears from you, as many of you will appreciate what I'm saying there. But if when you leave that environment to become a trader, like I did in 2001, a full-time trader in 2001, you do that for a reason. You want a better quality of life, work-life balance, and then you start trading and you think, oh, maybe I could become a fund manager. But be careful, they say, be careful what you wish for, because it's fine to become a fund manager if that's what you want, but you are then semi going back into having a job again. So yes, the potential to earn a lot of money is there, but then you're going to have to forgo a lot of the privileges you get by having the flexibility of working for yourself as a trader, so to speak. So, for example, if you think people say, "Oh yeah, you can become a fund manager. You can have offices in the West End of London and all that sort of stuff." Yes, you can, but then you'll spend half your time in meetings, traveling to London, traveling to meetings, and trying to raise capital and all those sorts of things. Which actually, if you enjoy that sort of thing, then fine. But all of a sudden, you've got a job again. I get up in the morning and I look at the markets first thing in the morning, and I might place some trades based on whatever it is I'm seeing, and then I take the dog for a walk, or I go to the gym, or if it's in the summer I might be doing some other things. When you start to be able to trade acutely, shall we say, you have a quality of life. There's this myth that people say, oh yes, if you're full-time trading, you're sat in front of your computers all day long. That's absolutely not true. I can come and go from my office as much as I want to, and yet I can stay connected. I can still see what the markets are doing. And the wonderful thing with our app nowadays is that I can almost be a semi money manager, and which the app is fully regulated. Bear in mind that's fully FCA regulated, so that I can still have the ability to, in a way, be feeling like I have our own little fund, because there's a collective of traders within there. But it's not just Charlie places trades and people just follow, because that's not true. There's so much more depth to the app than that we're discussing all sorts of trades and discussing the market environment and doing training elements within that app as well. So it's not just a copy me sort of thing. It's right, okay, do you want to learn to trade whilst we're doing this? So you can actually see someone who has been trading for 20 years doing what he does and using the rationale that he does, and learn from that, learning all the patience and all the other attributes you need, discipline, etc., etc., as a trader. And you can see it all happening live in front of you as well. Anyway, this wasn't about having the app, but the app gives me a bridge there without me having to commute to London every day of the week and have a job by going to meetings all of the time. Who wants to do that? Now, if you wanted to become a really big fund, then that may be something that you absolutely, it's entirely a great thing. If you want to become the next Paul Tudor Jones, that's the route you're going to need to go down. But for some of us, you get to a point where you say, do you know what? Maybe years ago I would have loved to become a billionaire or whatever. But you know what? I have a really nice quality of life with the money that I make from trading. Actually, do I want to go and forego that quality of life to, yes, go and make all of that money, but I'm in meetings all the time and I'm having to deal with the regulators all the time and deal with compliance and have staff and all that sort of stuff? Well, actually, food for thought. some of you, a lot of you, are not going to want to go down that route. And I would suggest that most people who get into trading because they want a flexibility in their life, because they may not be happy in their previous careers. They may actually think, oh, it'd be great to be a money manager. Just bear in mind, the reason why not everyone goes into the money management business, and this is coming from someone who's done it, is that actually all the compliance and all the other work you have to do behind the scenes creates a job. So it all sounds cool, but actually you end up just working for money again, as opposed to trading your own money, which gives you so much more flexibility. Let me give you one more piece of food for thought for this week. So I'm just going to bring the pen up here. So let's say you had £10,000 in a trading account. I've just done some quick back of the fag packet maths, not that I smoke, but anyway, if you had £10,000 in a trading account, and let's say as a retail trader, you could make an average of 50% a year, which is not unrealistic as a retail trader. Because it's only once you start getting into multi-millions of pounds under management that actually 50% a year becomes unrealistic. When you have small capital that you're trading, relatively speaking, small capital, 50% a year is more than doable, and you're not having to take undue risk to make 50% a year. Okay, we have traders who, Easy Trader, who some months making well over 20% in a month, and they're not actually. I've been speaking to them. One I just emailed me recently. He's only risking 1% per trade. I'm just going to have a look and see if I can find his email now. But let me press pause here. Okay, so yeah, this is an email literally came into me this week. I have protected for oh no, it's not showing. Why is it not showing? I've just brought it over and it's not flashed it up. Let's see if it's. Oh, that's a shame. Oh, what weird. That's weird. It's okay. I'll have to do it this way. Right. Okay. Bear with me. I'll press. Okay, I've got it now. I've had to obviously protect his. Oh no, it's not coming up. Why not? Okay. Oh, I know. I've got the pen on. That's why. Turn the pen off, Charlie. Me and technology again. Right, okay, that explains why it wouldn't work. So let me just get rid of that. That's where I just tried to cut and paste it. Anyway, what I've done instead, I've just gone to forward. And main thing is I needed to protect, obviously, his details on the email. So I've just taken the rest of his email off. Obviously, his initial is D. And so, anyway, this email came to me just this week, and he said, "Hi mate, just thought I'd give you an update at the end of another good month. Still maintaining good performance. Over 20% gains this month. Again, not thinking about it too much, and remaining calm and all focused. He still works full time and doesn't feel it prevents me from trading in the slightest. Actually, this individual, he's a carpenter by trade and loves his job. So he's not actually trying to leave his job. He's doing trading as a part-time venture and just really enjoys it. But he said, but he's got his goals. Maybe ultimately he might calm down his work, but really enjoying it. So made his first withdrawal today. As I think it's important to recognise these moments and just remind myself how far I've actually come from first watching Millions by the Minute when it aired in 2014. And so I will be treating the girlfriend to a nice meal somewhere tomorrow night. I always advocate people, when you've had a good run, take some money out. It feels great to take some money out of your trading account. Because that is the way to really feel like you're achieving some milestones, and when you do actually take some money out. Anyway, long story short, he says goal remains to the same 50k first target. I think he was starting out. I can't remember, maybe 10 or 20. So his first target is still. Or first proper goal is to that. So anyway, coming back to this, now I can bring the screen draw back on again. That's why it wouldn't show. So £10,000, it's doable to be doing 50% a year. Now, D there, I won't even mention his first name, but he did 20% in a month. Then you're going to have months where you might do that, but you might also have the odd month where you might actually lose, or you might have a month where you only make 1% or 2, so it's going to vary. But sorry, because I'm typing here, 50%, not 50,000, 50%. Okay, so I think 50% a year, once you've become competent enough, and I appreciate that when you're first starting out, you've got a lot to learn. But once you become competent, then 50% a year is more than achievable. So what I did then with this, I just had the calculator out. So what happens after 5 years? 5 years, it turns into around about that 10,000 initial capital. If you could achieve 50% a year, that would turn it into £75,000. So the problem a lot of traders have is they're so hungry for it that they sometimes they push too hard. And you see that happen in sports as well sometimes. When you see professional sports people, sometimes just push that little bit too hard. It doesn't quite work out. But if you can have the patience and say, look, this is a long-term venture. I don't need to make money necessarily right now. If I'm only starting out with £10,000, and I'm not going to be adding to it. Bear in mind, we can talk about adding to it separately. But by not adding to it and doing 50% a year on average. And I don't think that's unreasonable, 50% a year. As a retail trader, you could turn that into 75. Another 5 years. So by the time you get to the 10-year mark, now bear in mind this is from the point where you're competent enough to think, okay, I can do 50% a year. That 75,000, I think it was up to, now what was it actually? I better bring my calculator back up. I think it was about half a million. Yeah, it turned into 500 and let's call it 75,000, roughly speaking. 575,000. And you get up to that amount, and we could carry on doing it, because I think 50% a year is still doable. Obviously, at this sort of amount, it's still very much achievable until you start getting to seven figures, and then you'd probably get to a point where you'd hit a normal like a threshold where you feel like, actually, I don't feel like I need to be going even for 50% a year anymore. I'm reducing my risk. And so what people tend to do, and it's what I've done, is you end up, as your account gets bigger, you reduce actually the risk per trade, because you say, do you know what, I'm happy making nowadays 20% a year, because 20% a year on a seven-figure amount is still really nice. So, but anyway, that's a personal thing depending on the individual. So what I'm trying to say to you is, do you want to become a hedge fund manager and have all the stresses and the hassles with becoming a money manager? Or could you say, do you know what? I can have a game plan here. 10 years is not a long time. 10 years is not a long time to maybe still be working, or working full or part-time and trading along with that. And actually then getting into a position where you're really creating some nice wealth. And bear in mind, like I haven't mentioned, is that you could be adding to your funds as well. When I was trading in those first few years, I was still adding to I put money into my account, and then I was adding to the account as well as trading the account. So that was a way that I managed to compound it a little bit quicker than maybe I would have done just by trading it. But anyway, there's some food for thought for you. Do you have to be a money manager? Do you have to be a fund manager? Well, yes, if you want to make millions and millions of pounds, then you can do it from trading. You'd still got to get the capital up in the first place to do that. If you don't have the capital, then look at it and say, look, I've got some milestones here, milestone here, and then another milestone. So you can do it that way. Or you can add to it, and all of those other things that you can do as well. Maybe having that flexibility of lifestyle and actually having a nice quality of life, spending time with family, not having to commute and be effectively held to account and held into a job which you would be as a fund manager. Actually, maybe doing it this way, you're actually getting the best of both worlds. Maybe you're not going to become a godzillionaire, but we have to look at life as well. And for me personally, life and enjoying life and doing what you want to do whenever you want to do it is much more fulfilling than just money. And so I'm throwing that at you because maybe you're thinking the same and thinking, yeah, do you know what? Trading isn't just about money. It's about the mental challenge of trading as well. All of those aspects which we love, and that's what I love, the mental challenges of trading, but also mixing that with having a nice work-life balance. Anyway, food for thought there this Wednesday as we're closing in on Christmas. Blimey. I'll leave you to it for now.